At 3 a.m., my daughter called to tell me she'd sold my apartment for her wedding. I'm Bruce Sullivan, and those words should have crushed me. Instead, I felt something else entirely. Relief. Bella needed $85,000 for her dream wedding, and she thought my home was the only way to get it. While I was scheduled for life-or-death heart surgery, my own daughter had decided to cash in early on her inheritance. Here's what she didn't know. The property deed she'd found in my desk drawer was completely fake. After 20 years in the military, you learn that the people closest to you can hurt you the deepest, so you prepare accordingly. My daughter thought she was saving herself from poverty. What she actually did was reveal exactly who she'd become when money was on the line, and that revelation was worth more to me than any apartment. If this story sounds familiar, family members who mistake kindness for weakness, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment about where you're watching from. Stories like this need to be shared, because what happened at Bella's wedding 3 weeks later changed everything between us forever. Let me take you back 6 months to when this whole mess started. January 15th, 2024, Dr. Harrison's office at the Portland VA Medical Center. The cardiologist's words were clear. Mr. Sullivan, you need surgery within the year. The shrapnel near your heart from that IED in Iraq is shifting. I'd been managing the pain for 19 years, metoprolol twice daily, $180 a month. But my heart was giving out. The surgery estimate hit my kitchen table like a bomb. $130,000. I called Bella that same evening. Honey, I need to talk to you about something serious. Dad, I'm literally walking into dinner with Connor's parents. Can this wait? It's about my heart condition. The doctors say, Dad, you're tough as nails. You survived Iraq. Whatever it is, you'll handle it. Connor's mom is waving me over. Click. That was sign number 1. Sign number 2 came 3 weeks later. Bella brought Connor to my apartment for the first time. I live modestly, 800 square feet in suburban Portland, nothing fancy. But it's clean, and it's paid off. Connor walked through my living room like he was touring a museum of poverty. Designer jeans, Rolex Submariner that cost $12,000. The kid makes $180,000 a year as an investment banker. So this is where you grew up? He asked Bella, his voice carrying that particular tone rich people use when they're trying to sound sympathetic. Yeah, Bella said, sounding almost apologetic. Dad's always been more about function than form. I was standing right there. Connor examined my frame photo from Iraq, me and my squad outside Fallujah, 3 months before the IED that nearly killed me. Must have been tough coming back to this. Bella jumped in quickly. Dad's done really well for himself. Blue collar steady, you know? Blue collar steady. Like that was something to apologize for. I spent 15 years working double shifts at Home Depot to put Bella through college. Marketing degree, $48,000 in tuition. I paid every penny. My uniform shirt was still hanging in the closet, proof of every sacrifice I'd made. But Connor wasn't finished. Have you thought about downsizing, Mr. Sullivan? This seems like a lot of space for one person. Connor, Bella laughed nervously. Dad loves this place. I'm just thinking practically. Real estate market's hot right now. This place is probably worth, what, $400,000? Maybe $450,000? $485,000 actually. I knew because I'd had it appraised the month before, when the medical bills started piling up. Dad's not selling, Bella said firmly, but I caught something in her voice. A hesitation, like she was considering Connor's words more carefully than she wanted to admit. That night, after they left, I sat at my kitchen table with the surgery estimate. $130,000. My savings account had $42,000, not even close. I pulled out a legal pad and started making calculations. Disability check, $3,200 a month. Apartment value, $485,000. If I sold, I could afford the surgery and still have enough left for a smaller place. But something about Connor's comment bothered me. The way he'd assessed my home like he was pricing livestock. The way Bella had looked embarrassed instead of proud of everything I'd sacrificed to give her a good life. I made a decision that night. I called my old military buddy Jake, who'd become a lawyer in Portland. Jake, I need to ask you about something unusual. If someone wanted to create a fake property deed, how would they do it? Bruce, what kind of trouble are you in? The kind where I need to know who I can trust. That's when I started preparing for the possibility that my own daughter might betray me. By March 2024, my heart condition was getting worse. Dr. Harrison moved up my timeline. Mr. Sullivan, we're looking at surgery by August. Your ejection fraction is dropping. Translation, my heart was failing faster than expected. I should have been focused on survival. Instead, I was watching my daughter's relationship with Connor transform her into someone I barely recognized. Bella had always been strong-willed. That's how she survived losing her mother when she was 8. Sarah died in a car accident on Highway 26, Black Ice, in February. I raised Bella alone from that point forward, and I was proud of the woman she'd become. But Connor's influence was changing her. "Dad, Connor and I have been talking," she said during one of our Sunday dinners. This was April 7th, 2024. "We think you're being too stubborn about accepting help." "What kind of help?" "Financial planning. Connor's really good with investments. He could help you make better decisions about your assets." Assets. That was Connor's word, not Bella's. "Honey, I've been managing my money for 62 years. Dad, no offense, but you're not exactly Warren Buffett. You could be doing so much more with what you have. What I had." She was talking about my apartment like it was a stock portfolio. "Bella, this place isn't an investment. It's my home. But it's also your biggest asset. Connor says in today's market you could sell high, buy something smaller, and have money left over for whatever you need. Whatever I need. Like heart surgery to stay alive." The stakes were becoming clear. If I told Bella the truth about my medical timeline, she'd pressure me to sell the apartment. She'd frame it as helping me, but really she'd be solving her own problems. Because here's what I'd learned about Connor's family. They expected certain standards. The Mitchell family has traditions, Bella had mentioned casually. Connor's sister's wedding cost $200,000 at the Riverside Country Club. $200,000 for one day. My entire net worth, if you counted the apartment, was around $500,000. Bella was looking at my life savings like a wedding fund. The real stakes hit me on May 15th, when Bella brought Connor to my follow-up appointment with Dr. Harrison. I hadn't invited them. They just showed up. "We want to support you, Dad," Bella said in the waiting room. Dr. Harrison explained my condition to all three of us. The shrapnel had shifted closer to my pulmonary artery. Surgery was now critical within 8 weeks. "What's the financial situation?" Connor asked the doctor directly. Dr. Harrison looked uncomfortable. "That's between Mr. Sullivan and his insurance." "Dad doesn't have great insurance," Bella said. "We're trying to figure out his options." Connor pulled out his phone. "I know some people in medical finance. There are ways to leverage real estate equity for medical expenses." Leverage real estate equity. He was talking about my home like collateral. After the appointment in the hospital parking lot, Connor made his pitch. "Mr. Sullivan, Bella and I have been discussing your situation. We want to help." "How's that?" "A bridge loan. You sign over temporary rights to the apartment. We arrange the surgery financing. And after you recover, we work out a payment plan." Bella looked hopeful. "Connor's family has connections. They can make this happen fast." I studied Connor's face. This wasn't generosity. This was opportunity. "What happens if I don't recover from surgery?" "Dad, don't say that." "It's a fair question, Bella. Connor, what happens to my apartment if I die on the operating table?" Connor hesitated just long enough. "Well, naturally, Bella would inherit, as your daughter. Naturally." That night, I called my lawyer, Jake, again. "I need that fake deed we discussed, and I need it to look convincing. Bruce, this is dangerous territory. Jake, my daughter is planning my funeral before I'm dead. I need to know what she'll do when she thinks I can't stop her. The stakes weren't just my surgery anymore. They were my dignity, my autonomy, and my ability to trust the person I'd raised and sacrificed everything for. If I stayed silent, I'd lose more than my home. I'd lose the truth about who my daughter had become. But if I spoke up now, confronted her directly, she'd just get better at hiding her real intentions. Connor would coach her on the right things to say. I needed proof of who she really was when she thought no one was watching. So I set a trap. The fake deed went into my desk drawer on May 20th, convincing enough to fool someone who wanted to be fooled, legal-looking enough to make Bella feel confident about taking action. I told myself I was protecting my assets, but really I was protecting my heart from the truth I was afraid to face. June 15th changed everything. Bella called me at 7 p.m., voice shaking with excitement. Dad, I have amazing news. Connor proposed. That's wonderful, honey. When's the wedding? July 12th. We know it's fast, but the Riverside Country Club had a cancellation. Connor's parents are helping with the deposit. July 12th, 4 weeks away. Right in the middle of my surgical window. Bella, that's cutting it close with my surgery. Dad, about that. Connor and I have been talking to his family's financial advisor. There might be other options for your medical situation. Other options. 2 days later, she showed up at my apartment unannounced. Connor wasn't with her, which should have been my first warning. Dad, can we talk about your surgery costs? What about them? Have you actually researched your VA benefits? Connor thinks you might be eligible for more coverage than you realize. I've been dealing with the VA for 20 years, Bella. But have you really dug into it? Connor's uncle is a veteran, and he says the system is complicated. You might be leaving money on the table. Money on the table? Dad, you could be overthinking this whole financial crisis. Financial crisis? That's what she called my potential death. Bella, what exactly are you suggesting? Maybe you don't need to stress about surgery costs. Maybe you should focus on getting healthy and let the younger generation handle the paperwork. The younger generation, meaning her and Connor. And what would that look like? Well, Connor's really good with administrative stuff. He could help you navigate the VA system, make sure you're getting maximum benefits. In exchange for what? Dad, why do you always assume people want something? We're family. But her eyes were already scanning my apartment, looking at my desk where I'd left the fake deed slightly visible under some bills. Bella, I appreciate the offer, but I can handle my own affairs. Can you, though? Dad, you're 62 years old, facing major surgery, dealing with government bureaucracy. Connor's dealt with financial institutions his whole career. Connor's 30 years old. Dad, age doesn't matter when you have expertise. What kind of expertise? Asset management. Maximizing returns on existing holdings. Existing holdings. She was talking about my apartment again. Bella, my apartment isn't a holding. It's my home. But it's also equity, Dad. Equity you might need for medical expenses. There it was. Are you suggesting I sell my home? I'm suggesting you explore your options. Connor ran some numbers. This place is worth almost $500,000. If you bought something smaller, you'd have hundreds of thousands for medical care, travel, whatever you want. And where would I live while I'm recovering from heart surgery? We've thought about that. Connor's family has a guest house in Lake Oswego. You could stay there during recovery. Lake Oswego. 20 miles from my doctors, my friends, my life. Bella, I'm not moving to Lake Oswego. Dad, it's temporary, just until you're back on your feet. And then what? Then you find a nice one-bedroom condo somewhere closer to us. Dad, we want to take care of you. Us. She was already speaking as Connor's wife, not my daughter. Bella, I don't need taking care of. Dad, you're about to have open heart surgery. You need family support. I need my home. Dad, you're being stubborn. This house is just walls and memories. Just walls and memories. This was where she'd learned to ride a bike in the hallway, where I'd helped her with homework every night for 10 years, where she'd cried after her first breakup, and I'd made her ice cream sundaes until she smiled again. Bella, those memories matter to me. Of course they do. But Dad, memories live in your heart, not in real estate. Real estate. She was quoting Connor now. What does Connor get out of this arrangement? What do you mean? Bella, Connor makes good money. His family has money. Why are they so interested in my financial situation? Dad, that's really unfair. Connor cares about you. Connor barely knows me. He knows enough to want to help. Help how? By convincing you to pressure me into selling my home? Dad, nobody's pressuring anybody. We're having a conversation about options. Options that benefit who? Benefit you, Dad. You get medical care, we get peace of mind knowing you're taken care of. And Connor gets what? Bella paused. That pause told me everything. Dad, Connor gets a wife who isn't stressed about her father's financial situation. There it was. The truth. So this is about your stress, not my health. Dad, of course I'm stressed. You're facing surgery, you're worried about money, and you won't let anyone help you. I never said I wouldn't let anyone help. Then let us help. Let Connor look at your paperwork, figure out your VA benefits, maybe explore some refinancing options for this place. refinancing options. Bella, what exactly has Connor told you about my finances? Just that you're probably not maximizing your potential. My potential? Dad, you've been playing it safe your whole life. Connor understands markets, investments, growth strategies. Growth strategies. This from a man who'd known me for 3 months. Bella, has Connor seen any of my actual financial documents? Of course not, but he doesn't need to. He can tell from your lifestyle that you're probably underutilizing your assets. Underutilizing my assets. And what would proper utilization look like? Dad, I don't know the details. That's why Connor wants to help. But I could see it in her eyes. She'd already had detailed conversations with Connor about my apartment value, my medical costs, and their wedding expenses. Bella, when is your wedding deposit due? What does that have to do with anything? Answer the question. June 25th, 10 days away. That's when I knew for certain. This wasn't about my health. It was about their timeline. The next morning I did something I hadn't done in 20 years. I drove to the Portland VA regional office and asked to speak with a benefits counselor. Mr. Sullivan, what can I help you with today? Patricia Adams had been working veteran benefits for 15 years. Gray hair, kind eyes, the patience of someone who'd explained the same complicated system to thousands of confused veterans. Patricia, I need to understand my medical coverage. My daughter thinks I'm not maximizing my benefits. She pulled up my file on her computer, started scrolling. Her eyebrows went up. Mr. Sullivan, you're rated at 100% disability. Your medical coverage should be comprehensive. Should be? Is comprehensive. Surgery, hospitalization, rehabilitation, medications, everything related to your service-connected conditions is fully covered. I felt something cold settle in my spruceage. Patricia, what about heart surgery? More scrolling. Mr. Sullivan, your heart condition is directly related to your combat injury. The shrapnel damage is clearly documented. Any cardiac intervention would be covered 100%. Are you certain? Mr. Sullivan, let me be very clear. You will not pay $1 for this surgery. Not $1. I sat in my car in the VA parking lot for 20 minutes trying to process what I just learned. Bella thought I was facing financial ruin. Connor was positioning himself as my financial savior, but the surgery was already covered. Either they'd never bothered to research my actual benefits, or they didn't want to know the truth. That afternoon, I made another call I'd been putting off for months. Jake, it's Bruce. Remember that legal work you helped me with in 2007? The military settlement? The IED injury case? Of course. That was a significant settlement. How significant? Bruce, you received $890,000, plus interest and investment growth over 17 years. Haven't you been tracking the account? I hadn't. I'd put that money away and tried to forget about it. Blood money, I'd called it. Payment for almost dying in a war that ended badly. Jake, how much is in that account now? Let me check with the investment firm. Bruce, you're looking at approximately $1.4 million. $1.4 million. I was sitting in my modest apartment worried about surgery costs, while I had enough money to buy 5 apartments like mine. Jake, why haven't I been getting statements? You asked us to handle everything quietly. No mail to your home address. You said you wanted to forget about it until you needed it. I'd forgotten, all right. For 17 years, I'd lived like that money didn't exist. Bruce, is everything okay? Jake, I need you to prepare some documents for me. Quietly. That evening, Bella called. Dad, have you thought more about our conversation yesterday? I have. And, Bella, I'm curious about something. Have you and Connor researched my VA benefits? A little. Connor's uncle said the VA is notoriously difficult to work with. Did you call them directly? Dad, Connor handles all our financial research. He's really thorough. Connor's research. I wondered what else Connor had researched. Bella, can I ask you something honestly? Of course. How much do you think this apartment is worth? Connor estimates around $450,000, maybe $500 in the right market. And how much do you think your wedding costs? Dad, that's not really your concern. Humor me. With Connor's family helping, maybe $150,000 total. $150,000. Exactly enough to justify selling my apartment if I actually needed the surgery money. Bella, that's a lot of money. Dad, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. Connor's parents understand the importance of doing things right. Doing things right. Bella, what happens if I don't have the surgery? Dad, don't talk like that. Just hypothetically. What happens to this apartment if I die? Dad, you're not going to die. But if I did, I'd inherit it, as your only family. And what would you do with it? Long pause. Dad, I'd probably sell it. I couldn't afford to keep it, and Connor and I will have our own place. There it was. Whether I lived or died, my apartment was going to fund Bella's new life with Connor. The only question was whether I'd be around to see it happen. June 20th was the day everything changed. I was supposed to have my pre-surgical consultation that morning. Instead, I woke up to find Bella in my kitchen, making coffee like she owned the place. Dad, we need to talk. She had a folder with her, official-looking papers. Connor stood by the window, checking his phone. What's this about, Bella? Dad, Connor spent the weekend researching your situation. We found some concerning things. Concerning things. Connor looked up from his phone. Mr. Sullivan, when was the last time you reviewed your VA paperwork? Connor, that's between me and the VA. Dad, Connor's just trying to help, Bella said. He found some gaps in your coverage that could cost you thousands. Gaps in my coverage. I just confirmed with Patricia Adams that everything was fully covered. What kind of gaps? Connor pulled out his own folder. Mr. Sullivan, your current disability rating doesn't abruciatically cover elective procedures. Elective procedures? Heart surgery that isn't immediately life-threatening could be classified as elective by VA standards. He was lying. Smoothly, confidently, but lying. Connor, where did you get this information? Online research, VA websites, veteran forums, legal databases. Mr. Sullivan, the system is designed to minimize payouts. Bella looked genuinely worried. Dad, Connor found cases where veterans had to pay out of pocket for surgeries they thought were covered. Bella, have you called the VA directly to verify this? Dad, we trust Connor's research. Trust Connor's research, not verify it. Trust it. Mr. Sullivan, Connor continued, the smart move is to have backup funding ready, just in case. Just in case. And where would this backup funding come from? Dad, that's what we wanted to discuss, Bella said. Connor's family knows people in medical lending, but they'd need collateral. Collateral. What kind of collateral? Connor answered. Real estate is the most reliable collateral for medical financing. You want me to put my apartment up as collateral for a loan I might not need? Dad, it's insurance. Connor's family can arrange a credit line against your home equity. If the VA covers everything, you never use it. If they don't, you have options. Options. Their favorite word. And what does Connor's family get out of this arrangement? Mr. Sullivan, my family gets the satisfaction of helping a veteran, Connor said. Plus standard lending fees, of course. Standard lending fees. How much in fees? Depends on the amount. For a credit line of, say, $200,000, maybe 15%. 15%. $30,000. Connor, that seems high for family assistance. Dad, Connor's family is taking a real risk here, Bella said. They're offering to help based on trust. Trust. That afternoon, Connor left for work, but Bella stayed. Dad, there's something else we need to discuss. What now? Connor and I have been talking about timeline. My wedding is July 12th. Your surgery needs to happen by August. And? Dad, we're worried about the timing. If you have surgery right after my wedding, I won't be able to help with your recovery. Connor and I will be on our honeymoon. Of course, the honeymoon. Bella, where are you going on your honeymoon? Europe. 3 weeks. Connor's family has business connections in London and Paris. 3 weeks in Europe while I recovered from heart surgery. Dad, we feel terrible about the timing, but we can't change the wedding date. The venue deposit is non-refundable. Non-refundable. How much was the deposit? $45,000. $45,000 for a deposit. More than my entire savings account. Bella, how are you affording this wedding? Dad, Connor's family is helping, but they expect certain standards. Certain standards. And what happens if I need help during my recovery? Dad, that's what we've been trying to solve. Connor's family offered their guest house, remember? They have a full-time housekeeper who could check on you. A housekeeper checking on me instead of my daughter. Bella, what if I just postponed the surgery until after your honeymoon? Dad, you can't wait that long. The doctors were clear about your timeline. so she understood the urgency when it suited her argument. Bella, let me ask you something directly. If I died, Bruce Oro, what would happen to this apartment? Dad, why do you keep asking that? Because I want to understand your planning. I'd inherit it. And Dad, I'd probably have to sell it to pay for funeral costs and settle your affairs. Settle my affairs. And the money from selling? Dad, that would help Connor and me start our life together, which is what you'd want, right? For me to be happy? There it was. Plain as day. Whether I lived or died, my apartment was funding Bella's future with Connor. Bella, what if I told you I had other assets you don't know about? Dad, what do you mean? What if I told you I didn't need to sell this apartment for surgery money? She looked confused. Dad, Connor researched your finances. You have this apartment and maybe $50,000 in savings. Connor researched my finances without my permission. Bella, how exactly did Connor research my finances? Dad, it's all public record. Property values, Virginia disability payments, standard financial analysis. Standard financial analysis. Bella, Connor doesn't have access to my bank accounts. Dad, he doesn't need access. He can estimate based on your lifestyle and known income streams. Known income streams. That's when I realized they'd been planning this for months. Not days or weeks. Months. Bella, I need to ask you something, and I want an honest answer. Okay. Did you and Connor decide to get married before or after you found out about my surgery? Dad, what kind of question is that? An honest one. Dad, of course we decided to get married because we love each other. When did Connor propose? June 15th. When did I tell you about my surgery timeline? Dad, I don't remember exactly. May 15th? 1 month before Connor's proposal. Bella went quiet. Dad, you're implying something really hurtful. I'm not implying anything. I'm asking direct questions. Dad, Connor didn't propose because of your medical situation. Then why the rush to get married 6 weeks later? Because the venue had a cancellation, and Connor's family wanted to help us take advantage of it. Help us take advantage of it. Bella, your timing is very convenient. Dad, that's a terrible thing to say. Bella, you're asking me to risk my home for your wedding. I think timing questions are fair. She stood up, gathering her papers. Dad, I'm trying to help you, and you're treating me like I'm trying to rob you. Are you? Dad, I can't believe you'd ask me that. But she didn't say no. Bella, I need some time to think about this. Dad, we need an answer soon. The credit line paperwork has to be filed by June 25th. June 25th. Her wedding deposit deadline. Bella, what happens if I say no? Dad, then you're on your own with the surgery costs. On my own. After she left, I sat in my kitchen, looking at the fake deed I'd left visible in my desk drawer. Bruce Oro morning, I'd find out if my daughter would take the bait. July 12th. Wedding day. I wasn't supposed to be there. According to Bella's timeline, I should have been home, recovering from surgery, being checked on by Connor's housekeeper while they honeymooned in Europe. Instead, I was standing in the parking lot of Riverside Country Club at 3 p.m., holding a briefcase that contained the most important documents of my life. Let me back up to explain how we got here. June 21st, the morning after Bella's ultimatum, I found exactly what I expected to find. My fake deed was missing from the desk drawer. Bella had taken the bait. By noon that day, my lawyer Jake called. Bruce, someone contacted our office about a property sale. They're claiming to represent you in selling your apartment. Who called? Bella Sullivan. She says she has your power of attorney for medical emergencies, and she's arranging a quick sale to cover surgery costs. Jake, I never gave Bella power of attorney. I know. I told her we'd need to see the documentation. She's supposed to bring the deed and authorization papers this afternoon. That afternoon, Bella showed up at Jake's office with Connor and the fake deed I'd planted. Jake called me immediately after they left. Bruce, they brought a property deed that's clearly forged. The signatures don't match, the notarization is fake, and the document formatting is wrong. What did you tell them? I told them I needed time to verify the documents. I scheduled a closing for July 15th. July 15th, 3 days after Bella's wedding. Jake, I need you to do something for me. I need you to play along. For 3 weeks, I let Bella believe she'd successfully sold my apartment. She thought she'd gotten $450,000. She thought she'd solved her wedding funding crisis. But Jake had been documenting everything. Recorded phone calls, email trails, evidence of attempted fraud. Meanwhile, I'd been preparing for today. This morning, at 7 a.m., I called Bella. Honey, I have some good news. My surgery got moved up. I'm going into the hospital this afternoon. Dad, that's great. I'm so sorry I can't be there, but Connor and I will visit as soon as we get back from Europe. Don't worry about it, Bella. You enjoy your wedding day. Dad, I love you, and thank you for understanding about the apartment situation. Connor's family was so impressed that you were willing to make that sacrifice for my happiness. Connor's family was impressed. At 2 p.m., I checked myself out of the hotel where I'd been staying for the past week. Bella thought I was in the hospital. The truth was, I'd been preparing for this moment. Now I was walking through the reception area of Riverside Country Club. 150 guests. Connor's family had spared no expense. Bella looked beautiful in her $4,000 wedding dress. Connor looked proud in his Cuse Bruce tuxedo. They were cutting their $5,000 cake when I walked through the reception hall doors. Dad? Bella's voice carried across the room. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in the hospital? Conversation stopped. 150 pairs of eyes turned toward me. Bella, we need to talk. Connor stepped forward. Mr. Sullivan, this isn't really the time or place. Actually, Connor, this is exactly the time and place. I opened my briefcase. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for interrupting this beautiful celebration, but there's something everyone needs to know about how this wedding was funded. Bella's face went white. Dad, what are you doing? Bella, 2 weeks ago, you told these guests that your father had sacrificed his home to make your dream wedding possible. Murmurs from the crowd. Connor's parents looked confused. Dad, please don't. You told everyone that I'd sold my apartment to pay for my heart surgery, and that the leftover money was my wedding gift to you. More murmurs. Some people started reaching for their phones. The truth is more complicated. I pulled out the first document. This is a report from the Portland VA Regional Office. My heart surgery is covered 100% by my military benefits. Always has been. I will not pay $1 for my medical care. Bella tried to speak. Dad, we didn't know. This is documentation from my benefits counselor, Patricia Adams. Bella never called the VA, never researched my coverage, never asked about my actual medical costs. Connor stepped forward again. Mr. Sullivan, this is highly inappropriate. Connor, you told my daughter that my surgery could cost me my home. You researched cases of veterans being denied coverage. You created a crisis that didn't exist. I pulled out the second set of documents. This is the property deed Bella thought she found in my desk drawer. Notice the formatting errors, the incorrect notarization, the mismatched signatures. Janet Murphy, the venue coordinator, was taking notes. She'd been suspicious about the last-minute payment changes. The deed was fake. I created it specifically to see what my daughter would do if she thought I was helpless. Bella was crying now. Dad, we were trying to help you. Bella, you were trying to help yourselves. This is documentation from my lawyer's office. You attempted to sell my home without my knowledge or consent. In legal terms, that's fraud. Gasps from the wedding guests. Connor's parents looked mortified. But here's what you really need to know. I pulled out the final documents. This is my military disability settlement from 2007. $890,000, invested for 17 years. Current value, $1.4 million. Complete silence. This is my VA benefits statement. Full medical coverage, $3,200 monthly disability payment. This is my real estate portfolio. I own this apartment free and clear, plus investment properties worth approximately $600,000. Bella had stopped crying. She was staring at the documents like they were written in a foreign language. My net worth is approximately $2.1 million. I was never in financial crisis. I never needed to sell my home. I never needed your help. Connor's father stood up. Mr. Sullivan, are you saying my son and your daughter committed fraud? I'm saying they attempted to commit fraud. My lawyer has recordings of every conversation, copies of every forged document, evidence of every lie told to justify this wedding. Connor's mother grabbed her husband's arm. We need to leave. Now. Wait, I said. There's more. I pulled out one final document. This is the receipt for this wedding. Total cost, $155,000. Paid for with money Bella thought she'd received from selling my apartment. But since the apartment sale was fake, this wedding was funded with money that doesn't exist. Janet Murphy spoke up. Mr. Sullivan, are you saying the wedding payments will bounce? I'm saying Bella has written checks she can't cash. Bella finally found her voice. Dad, we can fix this. Connor's family can... Bella, Connor's family is gone. I looked around the reception hall. Half the guests had already left. Connor's parents were gathering their family members and heading for the exits. Connor was standing alone by the wedding cake, phone pressed to his ear, probably calling his father's lawyer. Bella, you chose to fund your wedding with money stolen from my life savings. Money you thought I needed to stay alive. Dad, please. The question everyone in this room should be asking is simple. What kind of person takes money from their dying father's medical fund to pay for a party? Security guards were moving toward me. Janet Murphy had called them when the confrontation started. Mr. Sullivan, one of the guards said, we need you to leave the premises. Of course, I've said what I came to say. I closed my briefcase and walked toward the exit. Bella, when you're ready to have an honest conversation about respect, family loyalty, and taking responsibility for your choices, you know where to find me. I'll be in my apartment, the one you tried to steal. The reception hall was in chaos as I walked out the door. Half-empty tables, abandoned wedding cake, a bride in a $5,000 dress crying into her hands. Connor was nowhere to be seen. His family had left without saying goodbye. And Bella was learning, for the first time in her life, that actions have consequences, even on your wedding day. The fallout started immediately. By 6 p.m. that evening, Connor's family had retained Morrison & Associates, Portland's most expensive law firm. They wanted to ensure they had no legal liability for the fraudulent wedding payments. By 8 p.m., Connor had moved out of the hotel room he'd shared with Bella. The European honeymoon was canceled. 3 weeks in London and Paris, $45,000 in travel expenses, gone. By 10 p.m., Bella was sitting in my apartment, still in her wedding dress, mascara streaked down her face. Dad, can we please talk about this? I'd been expecting her. Bella, what do you want to discuss? How do we fix this mess? Fix this mess. Still not taking responsibility. Bella, what mess do you think needs fixing? Dad, the wedding payments will bounce. The venue will sue us. Connor's family thinks I'm a criminal. Are you? Am I what? A criminal. You attempted to sell property that didn't belong to you. You forged documents. You committed fraud. Dad, I was trying to help you. Bella, stop lying. To me and to yourself. She started crying again. Dad, I don't know what to do. Let me help you figure that out. How much money do you owe? The wedding cost $155. Connor's family paid $50 up front. We were supposed to pay the balance with money from the apartment sale. So you owe $105,000. Dad, I don't have $105,000. How much do you have? In my checking account? Maybe $8,000? $8,000 against a debt of $105,000. Bella, what's your annual salary? $68,000. So you tried to fund a wedding that cost more than twice your annual income with money stolen from your father. Dad, please don't say it like that. How should I say it? Dad, we made a mistake, a big mistake, but Connor's family can help. Bella, Connor's family is gone. They left the wedding reception without saying goodbye. They've hired lawyers to protect themselves from association with you. But Connor loves me. Bella, where is Connor right now? She didn't answer. Bella, where is your husband on your wedding night? He's dealing with his family. He's protecting himself. From you. That's when she broke down completely. Dad, I've ruined everything. Yes, you have. Can you help me? There it was. The question I'd been waiting for. Bella, what kind of help do you want? Dad, you have money. You could pay the wedding debt. Of course. Even after everything, she wanted me to solve her problems. Bella, why would I do that? Because I'm your daughter. Bella, you tried to steal my house while I was facing heart surgery. Being my daughter doesn't entitle you to my bank account. Dad, what if I promise to pay you back? How? Your salary is $68,000. After taxes and living expenses, you might save $10,000 a year. It would take you 10 years to pay me back. Dad, I'll get a better job. I'll work harder. Bella, you'll work harder to pay me back for the money you stole from me. Dad, don't put it like that. How should I put it? She went quiet for a long time. Dad, what happens if you don't help me? You face the consequences of your choices. What consequences? The venue will sue you for breach of contract. You'll have to declare bankruptcy. Your credit will be destroyed. You'll probably lose your job when this becomes public record. Dad, you can't let that happen to me. Can't let that happen. Bella, I didn't make your choices. You did. But Dad, you set me up. The fake deed was entrapment. Entrapment. Bella, the fake deed didn't force you to do anything. It revealed who you are when you think no one's watching. Dad, that's not fair. What's not fair is spending 15 years sacrificing for your education and future, only to have you steal from me when I needed you most. Dad, I never meant for it to happen like this. Bella, what did you mean to happen? I meant for you to get your surgery, for me to have my wedding, and for everyone to be happy. With money stolen from my apartment sale. Dad, you would have gotten the money back when I inherited the apartment anyway. There it was, the core of her thinking. Bella, you planned for me to die. Dad, I didn't plan for you to die. I accepted that it might happen. And you decided to spend my inheritance before I was dead. Dad, Connor's family expected a certain kind of wedding. Connor's family expected... Bella, Connor's family doesn't even know your name anymore. My phone rang. Jake's name on the caller ID. Bruce, we have a problem. Bella's attempted fraud has created legal exposure for everyone involved. I put the phone on speaker. Jake, Bella's here. Can you explain the situation? Bella, the venue is filing charges. Attempted fraud, conspiracy to commit theft, forgery. The district attorney is reviewing the case. Bella's face went white. Mr. Morrison, Connor's family's lawyer, wants to ensure his clients aren't implicated. He's prepared to testify that Connor acted without his family's knowledge. Jake, what's Bella's legal exposure? Felony fraud charges. If convicted, she's looking at 2 to 5 years in prison. Prison. Bella started hyperventilating. Dad, you have to stop this. Bella, I didn't start this. You did. Dad, please, I'll do anything. Anything. Bella, there might be one way to resolve this. What? Full restitution to the venue, a public apology, and agreement to community service. Dad, I don't have the money for restitution. I know. Dad, will you help me? Bella, that depends. On what? On whether you're ready to change who you are. She looked at me for a long time. Dad, what would that look like? For the first time all evening, she was asking the right question. The story went viral within 48 hours. Someone at the wedding had recorded my speech and posted it on TikTok. Veteran expose's daughter's wedding fraud got 4 million views in 2 days. The comments were brutal. Imagine stealing from your dying father for a party. This girl deserves everything that's coming to her. Connor dodged a bullet getting away from this family. Bella's employer, a marketing firm downtown, put her on administrative leave pending investigation. Fraud charges create liability issues for companies that handle client finances. Connor filed for annulment on July 14th, 2 days after their wedding. His lawyer cited fraud in the inducement, claiming Connor had been deceived about Bella's character and financial situation. The annulment was granted. Connor's family issued a public statement through their lawyer. The Mitchell family had no knowledge of any fraudulent activity related to the wedding financing. We extend our sympathy to Mr. Bruce Sullivan and our support for veterans everywhere. They threw Bella under the bus with surgical precision, but the most interesting consequence was what happened to Bella herself. 3 days after the wedding disaster, she showed up at my apartment with a suitcase. Dad, Connor changed the locks on our apartment. His family lawyer says I have no legal claim to anything we bought together. Where have you been staying? Hotels, but Dad, I'm running out of money. Of course she was. Bella, what do you want from me? Dad, can I stay here until I figure things out? Bella, this is the apartment you tried to steal? Dad, I know how bad this looks. It doesn't look bad, Bella. It is bad. Dad, I understand that now. Do you? She sat down at my kitchen table. The same table where I'd calculated surgery costs 6 months ago. Dad, I've been thinking about what you said, about changing who I am. And? Dad, I don't think I knew who I was. Connor's world was so different from how I grew up. I started seeing our life, your life, like it was something to be embarrassed about. Something to be embarrassed about. Bella, I worked double shifts for 15 years to give you opportunities I never had. I know, Dad. And instead of being grateful, I started thinking I deserved more. What changed your mind? Dad, Connor's family dropped me the minute things got complicated. 15 years of your loyalty versus 6 months of Connor's convenience. The math isn't hard. The math. Bella, what are you asking me? Dad, I want to make this right. Not just the legal stuff, everything. How? Dad, I'll work 2 jobs if I have to. I'll pay back every penny of the wedding costs. I'll do the community service. I'll fix my credit and my reputation myself. And what do you want from me? Dad, I want you to teach me how to be the person you raised me to be. Before Connor, before the entitlement, before I forgot where I came from. I studied her face. She looked younger somehow, less polished, more like the daughter I remembered. Bella, that's going to take time. Dad, I have time. I don't have anything else. Over the next month, we worked out an arrangement. Bella moved into my spare bedroom. She got a second job waiting tables at night. Every penny of her income went toward paying back the wedding debt. She wrote personal apology letters to every wedding guest whose contact information she could find. She volunteered 20 hours a week at the Portland VA, helping veterans navigate the benefits system she'd never bothered to understand. Most importantly, she came with me to my surgery on August 15th. The operation took 6 hours. When I woke up in recovery, Bella was holding my hand. Dad, how do you feel? Like I got hit by a truck. Dad, the doctors say everything went perfectly. The shrapnel is gone. Your heart is strong. Bella, thank you for being here. Dad, I should have been here from the beginning. The recovery took 8 weeks. Bella took family leave from her marketing job to help me. She cooked meals, drove me to physical therapy, managed my medications. She never once complained about the cramped apartment or the modest lifestyle she'd once been embarrassed by. 3 months after the wedding disaster, Bella had paid back $43,000 of the wedding debt. She was working 70 hours a week between her 2 jobs. Dad, I want to show you something. She handed me a letter from the venue management company. They're reducing the balance based on my payment history and community service. I only owe $32,000 more. Bella, that's excellent progress. Dad, I want to ask you something. What's that? Dad, when I finish paying this back, when I've proven I can handle responsibility, would you consider helping me start over? Not with money, with advice. What kind of advice? Dad, you built a good life on your own. You saved money, bought property, planned for the future. You did it without anyone's help. Bella, what are you asking? Dad, will you teach me to do the same thing? For the first time in years, I was proud of my daughter again. Bella, I'd be honored to help you learn. Today, 18 months later, Bella has paid back the full wedding debt. She kept both jobs for 14 months, working 70 hours a week. She rebuilt her credit score from 480 to 720. She completed 200 hours of community service at the VA. Most importantly, she learned the difference between wanting something and deserving it. Last month, she bought her first apartment. Nothing fancy. A 1-bedroom place in southeast Portland, similar to where she grew up. She saved the down payment herself, qualified for the mortgage on her own income, and furnished it with pieces from thrift stores and estate sales. Dad, want to see something? She showed me her bank account statement. $18,000 in savings. Bella, I'm proud of you. Dad, I learned it from watching you. Steady work, live below your means, save for what matters. Save for what matters. Bella, what matters to you now? Dad, security matters, self-respect matters. Being able to handle my own problems matters. And relationships? Dad, I'm dating someone new. His name is Mike. He's a teacher at Roosevelt High School. Tell me about him. Dad, he drives a 2016 Honda Civic with 160,000 miles on it. He shares a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate. He coaches soccer on weekends for extra money. Sounds like my kind of person. Dad, the best part is, he doesn't want to change me. He likes that I work hard, that I'm paying off debt, that I volunteer at the VA. Bella, how did you meet him? At the VA, Dad. He was visiting his grandfather, who's a Korean War veteran. Mike helps him with appointments every month. A man who takes care of his grandfather. Bella had learned to recognize the right kind of character. Dad, I want to ask you something. What's that? Mike wants to meet you. Are you ready for that? Bella, bring him by any time. Dad, what if you don't like him? Bella, if he treats you with respect and earns his way in the world, I'll like him fine. Respect and earning your way. The lessons she'd finally learned. Dad, thank you. For what? For not giving up on me, for setting boundaries, for making me face consequences. Bella, that's what good parents do. Dad, when I have kids someday, I want to raise them the way you raised me, with values. Values. If you're watching this story, I want you to know it's never too late to teach the people you love about responsibility, respect, and earning what you receive. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is letting them learn from their own mistakes. Subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Family loyalty works both ways, but it has to be earned.